Hello everyone! Today we're gonna work on this beautiful Rossino frame. It's an Italian frame. You can see the Campagnolo sticker here. I don't know much about the brand, but yeah, it's very good, well-built frame, like really good quality. You can see from the lugs and like all of the tubing. Reynolds 531 tubing. Got Campagnolo like dropouts. Yeah, the bottom bracket shell is like has a cutout, so like usually like you find that on high-end frames. Nice lugs on the fork. Another Campagnolo sticker. Yeah, it's a really nice frame. I'm building that for a friend, and it's gonna be a single speed build. So we're gonna start by removing the dropout screws. They were quite bent, so I just like use a plier to like unbend them, and then screwdriver, which takes forever. So at the end I just use my drill, which makes the job much easier and faster. And as you can see on the other screw, it is really bent. But anyway, I'm not going to use the screws, so it's okay. And now I'm just gonna remove the headset. And for that frame, I'm actually gonna remove the stickers. I normally don't really remove stickers and try to keep the frame original, but for that build my friend wants a very clean look, and it kind of makes sense to remove like all the stickers and keep the frame like just bare chrome, and you'll see at the end the result is really nice. And even if I'm removing the stickers, I'm still trying to keep them in good shape so they can be reused like somehow if you want to put them back on the frame. As you can see, as I removed all the stickers, there's also quite a few rusty spots, so I'm just using steel wool to just clean up the frame. And another trick is to use aluminium foil to go over those rusty spots, so it kind of helps like restore the chrome a tiny bit, and yeah, it will just protect a bit from rust. I mean, I don't know if it's really rust, it's just like a bit tarnished. And here you can see the frame after I use the aluminum foil and the steel wool, and it looks pretty good. And now moving on to installing the bottom bracket. So I'm just putting here a tiny bit of copper slip grease, which should help prevent like seizing and just protect the bottom bracket shell. And for this build I'm using a modern bottom bracket, square taper, but with like seal cartridge. A lot of new parts on that build, just because I want to make it really nice and shiny. And one request my friend had was to have a few orange accents on the frame, very sparingly. So for example here I'm just going to replace the chainring bolts. And I had to keep the original chainring bolt like inner, just because it's a single speed crankset and it was too short with the other one. Now let's install the crankset. It's a beautiful crankset, by the way. It's like, I mean, this bike has a few parts ordered from AliExpress. I normally don't do that. I try to like buy locally on eBay, and especially like second-hand parts. But with the budget allowed for that bike, I could not go crazy parts. But it's a beautiful crankset. It's polished really, really nicely. So yeah. Moving on to the headset, where I'm just putting some part 2 grease. And I'm just reusing the same bearings. They were like in pretty good condition. I just gave them a really good clean. And for the headset, I wanted to add like this orange part, and obviously it's a 1/18 part. I couldn't find it in 1 inch. So what I've done is 3D printed a tiny adapter just so this can fit. And for the stem, I'm just using a nice quill stem. I think it's a Raleigh, which I polished really nicely. And for the handlebar, I'm just going for a classic straight bar. And moving on to the seat post, I'm just installing the seat pin. And for the saddle, I went with a classic turbo saddle. I really like this saddle. I don't find it really comfortable for me, but I just love the look of it, and some people like how it feels, so yeah. And for the brake levers, I'm using those Tektro, I think they're FL750. Those are some of my favorite like brake levers for like straight or like city bars. They just look super nice. And for the grips, I'm installing those, but they were like a bit tight, so I had to use WD-40 on the bar and a lot of elbow grease to fit them. Now installing the front wheel. I had to find the dropouts a tiny bit because the wheel axle was too large to fit. Again, I normally don't like doing this kind of stuff, but here that was the only way I could fit that wheel set. By the way, the tires are CST CZAR, Chinese brand, but they make really good tires. Those are actually folding tires, 28C, and I just went for tan wool just to match the classic look of the frame. And now just installing the chain. And here you can see I'm using this tool that one of my friends brought from Japan. Normally just use a piece of wire, but it's quite fun to use that tool, very specialized. Now I'm just tensioning the chain. There should be a tiny bit of play in the chain. It shouldn't be completely tight, otherwise you're gonna wear your component really fast. And moving on to the pedal, putting a tiny bit of copper sip grease. Pedals have this tendency to get really stuck and seize, so it's always good to add a bit of grease. And those pedals are kind of a MKS copy. They are really well made though, I really like them. And for the brakes, I went with those French CLB brakes. I quite like the look of them, look very classic. And for the rear brake, I actually lost the barrel adjuster. So what I've done is a 3D printed one. And as you can see here, I added a brass insert to make it stronger. And now I'm installing the cables. And for the housing of the cable, I wanted to keep it classic, so I went with those transparent Jaguar cable housing, which again looked really nice with the frame. You can actually see the coiling inside the housing because it's transparent. just going to adjust the brake pads so they sit nice against the rim. And for the top tube, I had to install those cable clips. That frame did not have any cable stops or any like brace on. I actually quite like using those clips. It just adds some details on the frame, make the whole build a bit more interesting. And here I'm just going to center the brake. Yeah, that's it. Final result looks super nice. I really love the bike. My friend is super happy with it. Love the tiny details. Yeah, really cool build. I hope you liked the video, and if you want to see more of this, just check my channel where I do a lot of different type of builds like this one. See you on the next one.